wanted to make sure that I had arts as part of my high school experience. And the reason for that is because I guess I always grew up doing it and being surrounded by it. Both my parents are very artistic people. They've both been in shows, and then my sister and I grew up dancing and taking singing and just very theater family.
I got into the arts because
Well, it was because
Well,
I have a bit of a cheesy answer.
Art has always been an outlet, right? Like that. I feel like most people connect with that are like in the arts, is that it's been an outlet.
Whenever I've been in a bad place, sad, any form of just unpleasant feelings, I always turn to the arts. And be it like listening to music, watching movies and TV shows, doing some sort of art, whatever. That's why I wanted to go and be, especially in film and TV, because then it hits a bigger audience. I want to be the comfort for someone else. So
I used to be overweight and I got bullied a lot for it. And drama and improv are one of the only things that kind of let me be like away from that, I guess, mentally. Like I got to do something other than think about, I got to make people laugh at me for a different reason. And it was a reason that I was, I was consenting to, and that felt a lot better for me.
Okay, I'm ready whenever. I wanted to become a professional dancer, but unfortunately I had an injury, so I had to quit. And due to that, I leaned more into acting. And I had a really great drama teacher, which really inspired me and made me want to go on to do acting as a profession. Little 7-year-old me was like, I want to be like Selena Gomez. And so I wanted to do that. But then throughout that time, I actually fell in love with acting and everything. So yeah.
Like the main reason was I saw how like art inspires people, art, film, and media. I saw that impact on me.
I really, really, really loved voice acting, and I thought it was super cool. I thought it was super fun. I only discovered that in like grade 11 in high school, and I was like, oh, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. That actually got me interested in acting in general. It just got me interested in like all of the above, you know what I mean?
my dad would always play guitar and sing. So I was really interested in singing, and I really liked to sing. I started when I was 6 because I would just sing all the time. So my parents were like, why don't you take some lessons? So I did. And then I kind of got into drama through musical theater because since I like to sing, I really like to sing songs from musicals. So yeah, it was basically just like kind of through my parents and then through like finding stuff out through my love of music. Yeah.
Well, really, the only reason I really started theater is because I saw all those people on TV and movies who I really loved and went, I want to be that someday. I've enjoyed what I've done so far, and I'm excited to see where it takes me from here.
As someone with like, mental health issues and someone who's also like trans, and kind of had to like carve my own way in the world, being kind of like the first, I was the first trans person I knew, right? And all of those really complicated feelings that I had had since I, had conscious thought, like being able to write or sing, or I played pretend a lot as a kid. And I realized that really influenced my gravitation towards performance, such as acting, and then later things like film. Like all of those things have really spoken to me.
I kind of always knew I was going to do something in the arts. I feel really passionate about it. At first it was like music, and then while I was in the visual arts, I discovered that I like writing way more. So yeah.
Unfortunately, there's a lot. Issues of racism, sexism, consent, and bullying. Some people think, what, we are in 2021, issues like this no longer are a thing of concern, which is far from the truth.
Body shaming is very much a thing, I think, in the dance industry, unfortunately. In all, I think, performance industries.
There's some sort of correlation between being mentally ill and being in the arts, because you just have such a different way of seeing the world.
And I didn't realize like, oh, dang, this isn't all like sunshine and rainbows. Not everyone is singing Kumbaya with me.
some profs did pick favorites. You know, when they pick favorites, instead of like critiquing your work, giving like good feedback. Okay, this is what you have to do to make it better. It would become more subjective.
With drama, I was really interested in it, and the teachers knew that, but they would like gravitate more towards their like favorites.
Since my first elementary school performance all the way up to my final high school production, I experienced many instances of favoritism towards other peers. She was the type of teacher who gravitated to those students who she viewed as truly talented. I learned very early on that I was not one of those students.
There was a lot of, I guess, drama, if you want to call it that.
But I dealt with the ripple effect of how it affected my classmates, and that really made an impact on what we were learning and how we were learning, because it went from a really positive environment to a really toxic one.
When I was part of a production, I played a character who is not very similar to me whatsoever. I guess you could say she was described as being quite slutty. And I think because of that, a lot of people who I worked with kind of gave me that reputation. And on one of our first performances, I was groped backstage by another member of the team.
This one teacher that I took dance in high school, and she was one of the the head dance teacher at our school. She put us in a lineup one time, I remember, and just made us stand all beside each other and to decide who got to wear bra tops and who got to wear like the medium crop tops, and then who had to wear the longest shirt. And I, unfortunately, just because of my physique, she was like, yeah, you definitely need the long one, and we'll make sure to like tape it down so that like you don't have your stomach basically out.
The teacher singled me out of all people and said even they can play this role, as if I was some sort of alien compared to the rest. Another time, completely randomly, this teacher says, I love India. The way people eat with their hands, it's so interesting. I'm Indian, by the way.
He would have students model for life drawing, and he had me pose as a sexy cop. I was like 16, okay? He had me pose as a sexy cop, and like I remember him encouraging me to be sexier in front of our entire class.
I was going around the room asking how everyone was doing, and I was honest, and I was like, I'm really struggling right now with my mental health and stuff, and like just having a horrible time. And he was like, well, are you pregnant? And I was like, what? And he was like, are you pregnant? And I was like, no. And he was like, okay, well then it can't be that bad then.
Two separate issues with male students. I think that's important. There was a guy in the program who, I guess he was insecure. He, for some reason, got in his head that me and my other female friends were talking about him and giggling about him. After class, he came over when she and I were sitting together, and he, while standing over us, proceeded to go, if I ever see you talking shit about me ever again, we're going to have issues. This needs to stop. You need to stop what you're doing, and I'm going to make you stop. And I was like, whoa, that feels like a threat.
Was it reported? Yes. Was anything done about it? No. But I'm not surprised.
So I actually did not say anything about any of those experiences that I had, because I had some similar experiences regarding my mental health with the head teacher of my program. And I knew if he was saying and treating me certain ways, it wouldn't make a difference if I was telling him that other teachers were doing that to me.
At first, reported it, but very vaguely. I was having a discussion with the producer of our show about it. And she kind of read between the lines and told me, if something did happen to you, you need to tell me so I can take action. So I told her the student who did it, and it got dealt with pretty much the very next day.
John, he didn't do anything. I'd like to just put that out there. He didn't do anything about the student coming up and verbally harassing us and threatening us. Even though this student has prior history that John is aware of. He was like, yeah, we take it seriously that Bill did this, but he deserves a chance to, show that he's changed. And I was like, well, no, clearly he hasn't changed if he got kicked out of one school for this and came and did it again here, but all right.
Nothing was reported in terms of the negativity I experienced. Back then, I wish I had more courage to approach my teacher and question why she had said negative comments to me.
To a certain sense, there were a couple things that were reported right then and there, which I'm glad that they were, but it was so small compared to the bigger issue at hand, where if that was reported, there would have been a bigger situation to be dealt with.
I never brought it up like to the school just because I felt like it wasn't at the time like a big enough deal to like say anything, and I didn't think it would really change much because I didn't know what they would really do. Other than like, I don't know, I didn't want them to say that I was just upset that I like didn't get a part or something.
Yeah, I didn't talk to any of the teachers about it because I thought that it would have become bigger than it had to be. And
As for the art teacher, I certainly never said anything. Like I never made a formal complaint. I know that I probably could have.
I didn't is because I was even more cynical and doubtful of the higher staffing than I was of the drama staff, because I'd already had issues with them earlier in the year. And I'm like, I could mention something, but I feel like if anything, it would end up with there being more evidence in favor of the negative behavior as opposed to against.
With the first teacher who was very severely fetishizing on the Asian girls in my class, he seemed to be having that issue for years, and the school had already known about it by the time I was experiencing it. So I ended up only talking to my friends about it, and then a few weeks later, he was fired.
I'm going to have a conversation with her after the class is basically, the semester is over, that next time, please be more sensitive in how you're putting your words together when talking to students.
A lot of the things I wanted to work on, I got confused about and upset about working on to that point. So many people in dramatic arts education go through that, being taken down instead of lifted up.
I was expecting her support instead of telling me that I can't do it. My confidence dropped a lot afterwards.
I was always having panic attacks. I was notorious for throwing up before every single performance I had. I really loved my program and I loved acting, but because of those situations, sometimes it made me not want to go to class because I didn't want to go and I didn't want to deal with it and I didn't want to be in that environment.
Being forced by this older man who I know at the time saw me as a teenage girl to pose sexually in front of my peers, that I felt exposed is the word that comes to mind. Like I felt really exposed by that. The toxicity that I experienced in that environment, like there was really no support, and it really devolved into a source of insecurity and negativity.
It just put me into a place that I hadn't been in a very long time, in which I just felt really alone, because it felt like no matter who I was reaching to, they didn't care. If there was no way for them to actually take action and punish a student, that's fine, but they didn't even offer me any support when it was clearly like I was missing class because I was scared to go near the student. They didn't even care. They were just like, you need to get past it. It's a you issue at this point. There's resources, reach out to us. We're here for you. But then when you do, it's like, that's not a real issue that we wanted to talk to you about.
I did deal with like some disordered eating and like things like that. It was more just of a push of like, yeah, you do need to lose weight. You do need to kind of change your appearance. It got to a point where like the less I ate, the more happy I was.
That specifically didn't affect me emotionally because I was already being affected emotionally by everything that was going on, and that was just another thing.
It just sort of made me be like question my abilities as an artist.
It just made me feel like whatever I did, it was just wrong. And they told me that no matter what I did, it was just wrong. It just made me like super scared to talk to anyone, like unable to make meaningful connections with people because I'm already anxious all the time and they're making me feel even more anxious at school.
It definitely made me feel very insecure. I thought it was, just part of the program and I had to sort of get used to it. This is what I should expect performing the way that I am. So I was very insecure about me and how I was performing for the longest time because of it. Even after it got resolved, I think it still affected the roles that I was more willing to play after that.
I want to shout out my mom. She is, like I said, we're part of an arts family. She grew up doing, acting, like TV, film, theater. Like she grew up doing that, and then she just kind of decided, like, I don't want to continue specifically as an actor myself, but she's like, I want to share that passion with others, and I think that's just one of the best gifts you can give.
Someone I know and love is Kate Ashby. She was our improv teacher, and she was hard on you. She was hard on you, but she made sure you knew exactly what you were doing, and she made sure you embraced who you were as a person.
Sherry Hollett. Sherry. Sherry is my new religion. I absolutely adore this woman. She is actually one of the few teachers who, anytime I had even a slight concern that I would raise to her, she would immediately take me seriously.
Shannon, Catherine Black, Lillian Allen.
Love. One of my teachers named Viv Moore.
Our middle school program in grade 7 was Miss Corn.
Miss Garrett was very helpful to me.
Cliff, what a great teacher, honestly.